I'm talking to Eva Marova, a journalist from Slovakia. She traveled to Iraq to gather the stories from people who have stood the terror of ISIS. All right, Eva, can you introduce yourself? Who are you and what do you do?
So I'm Eva. I'm from Slovakia. I work as a journalist. I was covering domestic politics for a few years. And then I quit and went to the Middle East and spent there a few months. And now I gathered some material, and now I write a book. So that's the short story about me. Yeah.
All right. Can you tell me about the book?
Of course. Probably you heard about the Islamic State and all the issues around. And yeah, there was some kind of help from Slovakia, to financial help and also personal. Not me, but some people went there and were trying to rescue girls, women under the influence from the Islamic State. And they were used as it's not very nice, but yeah, they were used as sexual slaves. And they were treated very badly. And the Slovak help, the financial help, could bring them back to freedom. So it was very nice. So I was there for a few months and went through all the safe houses and speak to those women about what they were going through. And now I'd like to write it to the book, to make it some kind of a legacy also that Slovaks were participants in this kind of hard issue. Yeah, and they could provide some help people who were actually in a really big and deep need.
So, I mean, did you travel to the Middle East also a lot of times before you went for this specific story?
I've been there for the first time in 2017, and it was only for 1 month. Yeah. And the offensive of Mosul Mosul were liberated in that time, and there was still a war in the north of Iraq. And there was the first time I met the Yazidi girls and women and spoke to them. And I knew that I will be back to write it. In that situation, it was it was a little bit dangerous for them and also for the people around them to write publicly about it and to use their own identities and names. So I just documented because of the money, just to write it down, what was used for their rescue and to have it in documents. And when I went back the last year, it was 2019. So I wanted to make interviews with them openly with all their names, identities, and to use it for the book to know. I'm a little bit maybe sad that people in Slovakia don't know about that we were part of it and a part of a rescuing process in that war with the Islamic State.
What kind of forms or appearances of polarization did you encounter during your travels?
Most of them, they thought that I'm American, so they weren't violent. No one were violent against me. Yeah, but you could feel that they are not comfortable with your presence there. The second experience I had was that I knew that I have to go away from that place. To be there for another, 30 minutes or maybe hour could be dangerous. And yeah.
When exactly was that?
There were two situations. The first time I met an Imam, the Salafi Imam, and people from Islamic State, they really wanted him to join them, and he refused. So it was kind of an interesting person to have interview with. So I went there, and it was a little bit funny because I was scared. Of course, I had this kind of fear inside me. So we went there with my fixer, and I was asking him, "Is that safe? Do you know him?" And he was like, A little bit. So we were having this conversation all the time that if it's okay to go there, because still they could take me as a hostage and ask for money of my own newsroom and so on, as we saw it many times before. And then he sent us an text message that please let's meet at, I don't know, it was in the evening. The sun was not really shining, it was the moon. And he was like, okay, I am afraid of meeting you in the public, so let's meet in my own house. I was like, he's afraid? Oh, come on, I am afraid to meet him. And he was like, from the bad movie, we were meeting in the road, and there was nothing around us, and I was really scared. And he was waiting for us in the car, so we were parking like close to him, and he led us to his house. And he started to speak about like how he hated Western people, and he even didn't look at me and never shake my hand because I'm a woman. So it was kind of I think the Salafi influence, it was very deep. So yeah, I was scared, but then it was one of the best interviews I had. So I couldn't really understand more of how people think when they're influenced by this kind of I don't know if it's a religion still or kind of a way of thinking. And he had a lot of information about how Islamic State worked in that time and how it still works. Because there are some sleeper cells around. So that's why he was afraid of them, and I was afraid of them as well, because he didn't join them. They wanted to kill him, so he was on the run for some time.
So there was a big conflict in him. Like on the one hand, he's staying quite clear, like I hate Westerners, but
Yes.
then he also has this conflict with IS.
Yes, exactly. And that's the most beautiful thing you can see in the people. It's not really black and white. There's a lot of gray zones in every person. And at first I was scared of him. And then whenever we were like leaving the house, I was like, wow, there was like a lesson of people's mind for me, how we work inside our heads.
Yeah, that's amazing to hear. And I'm just thinking, like, what you've already told us right now, like, even before going there, you were very aware of all the dangers that you were probably going to face. Um, there was still a lot of polarization that you encountered probably like on the first days or like the first interaction. So what motivated you to go, like regardless, and to get over that initial hesitance to go? Like, what was it?
I keep like listening to people who actually are saying me, Eva, why do you even speak with the kind of people like who are terrorists? They're bad guys. Why do you do that? And I mean, when we really want to know the reality and how people's mind work, and we have to know that. I think it's a kind of the work of journalists to go and to understand and to write about it, to bring the knowledge and to spread it to the people around you. So I think it's necessary to go there. And of course, the first step or the first moments, they were hesitating. They didn't want to speak with me. They were afraid of me as I was afraid of them. But after some time, they were glad that I came. They want to listen to them, that I want to hear the problems they have, the whole spectrum of destinies. They have the people around me, also children and women and men. It was very powerful for me to listen to them and to gain their trust, because I thought it's not too open for someone who is from the Western world, and who actually don't completely understand their culture. And I was asking them maybe some stupid questions as well, because I didn't know that I am not allowed to ask it. So I was ashamed. The first weeks, I remember I made some, fuck ups, but still. But then I understand more and more. and it was very nice with the people around. They really accepted me into the tribe, into the family, and were protecting me as a woman from Europe, from Slovakia.